people that are not here tonight. Myself, Bruce Fowler, Alan Weir, Alan Broger, Dick Van Dyke, Dick Davis. Back in the early days, there was a lot of us that came on the road as union officials, organisers for the Storemen and Packers Union. And yes, mate, you were the best boss in the world, you really were. You gave us the right, the ability, you didn't restrict us, you just said, go out, I want you to do your job. I want you to go out and annoy employers. That was basically the open slab that we got. And we did that, and so for that I'm grateful, I'm thankful. I went on my own pastures, if you like, same as others might have done, but we continue to represent the working class, and you were the best boss that anybody could have ever wanted in them early days. I know things have changed, we've had a lot of law changes, it's now more legalistic, if you like. In the old days we just went in and stopped the job, and we did, and we make no apologies for it. And you probably got a lot of phone calls in the early days about some of the things your organisers were getting up with, but you supported us, and for that I'm grateful. I just want to say for all the people out in the eastern districts, and I'm talking about the Mass Ports, the Fish and Pikels, the Duluxes, the Alex Harveys, you were top of the bloody road, mate, you were it. And the Storemen and Packers Union had number one, always number one. For that, mate, we're eternally grateful for you.
Well, I'd have to give us a song. Now we've got Warwick again with a few telegrams. We've got Peter Conway and Jim Joe. Thank you.
Right on. Now, Michael, I'll be with you.
I'm here, dear.
Once upon a time there was a union led by Mike and Bruce, to name a few. Remember the infamous freight quarters and the conditions they won for you and you and you. Those were the days, my friend, we'll hold and never end. We'll sing and dance forever and a day. Look at the life we choose, we fight and never lose. Those were the days, oh yes, those were the days. One wrote this. Then the busy years went rushing by us. Changes to the law along the way made union life a struggle for all workers, but the stores live to fight another day. Those were the days, my friends, we hope they never end. We sing and dance forever and a day. We live the life we choose, we fight and never lose. Those were the days, oh yes, those were the days. Just tonight I looked at Mike and wondered if he felt it all so sad and blue. Then I looked around the room and realized, how could he with the support of all of you? Those were the days, my friends, we hold it never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We'd find the life we choose, we fight and never lose. Those were the days, oh yes, those were the days. La 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 la.
Any more messages you want?
I can't beat that, everyone.
A few other apologies that we missed earlier on, so we'll get them on tape. Dick Valentine, Gene Robson, and Jim Butterworth, who was making our apologies.
Dear Mike, I'm very sorry that I cannot be at your farewell on 22 April. I would have liked to have been there. You've earned your retirement, Mike. Your constant effort on behalf of workers for nearly 40 years. It is done for all of us. I've admired your contribution for a long time and have felt honoured to work alongside you and combine union efforts over the last 20 or so years. You're a stalwart part of the union movement and you've remembered that way for many years to come. Now enjoy yourself. Kind regards, Marianne Street. Please forward my appreciation to Mike for his support over the years, mainly in the Hawke's Bay during the 70s and early 80s while I was an organiser for the Shopping Employees Union. It was a great party to celebrate those many years' service and passion for the union movement. Aranui, Jackie Hurst. Victor Miller was a journalist from BSA, from BSA. Although I won't be able to make it along, as I am at the wrong end of the country, please pass on my best wishes to Mike. I remember he rang me many years ago to say he got the job when I applied for NZCTU publicity officer. It was my first union job, and it nearly doubled my pay packet at the time, when I was just scraping along with but on off the dole. So it was a big break, and I Mike to thank for that. Paul was at the job interview too, and gave me a very shrewd look and said, I hope you're not going to bugger off overseas after a few months, which was exactly what I was planning to do. I lasted a year, but I must have got a taste for the job because now I ended up doing the same thing at Nuns. Victor Miller. Also, just Mike, Mark Montgomery, sent an apology from him and Karen. He's up in Colorado.
Jesus, it's still together, Mike. Can you believe it? It's still together.
Thank you for the invitation. I very much regret that due to a family commitment, I am not able to attend. Mike may have told you that we met up for lunch recently. It was very good. It was a very few hours with too much wine. It was amazing how much. And at the time, how little it changed. With the benefit of a good number of years hindsight, one can better appreciate the years I spent working with Mike. I look back knowing that I was part of a process which brought some much needed change to a moribund and bureaucratic union structure which coexisted with a militant and genuine grassroots unionism in quite small patches. More self-critically, I carried with it far too much academic and egotistical politics which attribute more than some initial ideas and enthusiasm. I recognise this in the form of my discontent with who I was and how I fitted in. Mike was part of the rich vein of law which traversed both tendencies in a way I could never have done. I admired Mike from the first time I saw him at work. He had a deep-seated trust in democratic procedures. It could be a bit disconcerting, equally for workers more used to being told what to do. For a young outsider, learning how unions not only did, but more importantly could work, and certainly not least for employers, totally bewildered and Mike's unconcern for their belief that they were entitled to behave as they chose. I sincerely hope that the many workers represented today in the past and in the future by the NZCTU will honour the enormous contribution Mike has made to their well-being. A unionist
Who is it?
who may not be well known, but was seminal to progressive unionism in New Zealand, Chip Bailey of the Wellington Drivers Union, was given to say after a dispute was settled that the significant thing was not what had been won or lost in terms of the issue, but whether the process had improved the organisation. There cannot be any doubt that Mike's was top marks on that grading contract. We were always close competitors, but I only ever made it in the music industry, and I never got to go out to Dusty Springs there, Springfield. We were always close competitors, but I only ever made it in the music industry, and I never got to go out with Dusty
and good to see a lot of old friends, members of the NZCTU diaspora, and those who have remained. And it's great to see Mike and Laney, and Mike, thanks for picking me up at the airport. That was awesome. And it's great to see the old social organisation in place. I was a rather green union official in the 70s in Christchurch, and I used to occasionally see Mike on telly with a unruly bit of hair getting in his way, standing in front of a picket, talking about the members' aspirations and why we were going back to lead on exactly what they wanted. And I thought, I used to read a bit about him in the Truth too, Anyway, 20 years ago when I arrived and started working at the NZCTU, I didn't really know what had hit me. First of all, there were all these kind of documents that used to kind of blow in the breeze in the foyer. And once I started picking up and reading and seeing that there was some from Ford suing us for 1.6 million, I started getting a bit worried, but I rang my couple at that year and said, "Get on it, John, mate, you'll sort it out," and he did. So that was okay. I used to wonder sometimes what the meetings were in the back room downstairs when it been a dispute. It was all settled. And not only did the union got exactly what they wanted for freight forwarders, they also told the boss they had to pay for all Dawson wages and allowances during the strike. And the reason for the meeting in the back room was to settle up with the social committee as to what the fine for the boss was. I also used to go to awards halls and see Mike walk in at 8:30 a.m. or 9 a.m. and one of it was just really the man I'd seen only 4 hours previously. But also I used to go to soccer meetings of 2,000 or 3,000 workers, Mike, and Mike on one occasion said to me, "I think they're ready to go back. They've been out for a bit." And listening to all the speeches in the room and everyone getting up there, I thought, well, how on earth is he going to do this? But actually, that's something about Mike. He always had very good reading of the dispute, very good analysis of the positive word, and an intimate understanding of where the members were objectively. And it was also about trust and honesty, to be able to stand up there and do one of the hardest things in the union movement, which is to say, I think it's time to concession. And for me, there were lots of times with Mike, was one occasion that always made me laugh with my son, and I used to kids with me out at that time. Such was the speed they had to fight, that when there was a bit of a rumble and a cop damage by his car, as we were driving back in the town afterwards, my son said to me, "That cop really big as trouble." But I know it's not a lot of time, there's a lot of memories, and I must say the National Secretary of the Army, son of the days and days of that and not lose a break more often than you do, like patience was just an absolute sight to behold. But what I wanted to say was that everyone in this room knows what it was like in the union movement when you want to be able to sit down and talk really honestly with somebody about what your concerns are in the dispute. And Mike was the person I could always talk honestly with. And he only ever wanted to know two things. He didn't want to know exactly what the settlement was. I mean, he did want to know that, but that wasn't the most important thing. He really wanted to know two things. Had we done the right thing by the members? Did we have their best interests at heart? And were we looking out for the wider interests of the union movement? And I know a lot of people have said Mike just wanted everyone to have a go, and that's true. That was the nice thing about Mike. He wanted organisers to be out there having a go, pushing them down, and pleasant to deliver. But he was also the person you could sit down and have a quiet talk to and get the right feedback, what you needed at that time in the dispute. I never walked out of Mike's office without being a lot clearer as to what we needed to do next. So thank you for that, Mike. Thank you, Lane.
I'm standing here reasonably reluctant. I'll explain why, not for that reason. But Jude asked too that I could perhaps speak on their behalf, or maybe some others that are still working for the NZCTU but have been really close to Mike and Laney over a period of time. And the difficulty of standing here is that for some of us it's not actually, we don't see it as a farewell, we don't see it as an end. We certainly see it and we celebrate with others in terms of an absolute commemoration for Mike and the people around him and very close to him and their contribution over a long period of time, as everybody else has said. But for some of us it's not over yet, and it's hopefully not at an end. Now Mike personally is a bit reluctant, but I've got to say that in my view, with all of the qualities that people have described, I think there still will be opportunities for Mike to make a fundamental continued contribution to the Labour movement in some form. And we need to convince him of that, because he's reluctant. If he's not at the coalface dealing with workers, he doesn't necessarily see that those same talents can be served in other roles. And so there's a bit of a tucky about that for me and from a group of us, and there's also a tucky about this, that we don't want to disappear. That some of our friendships might go beyond just the work environment as it does with all of you, or you wouldn't be here. And so that social content needs to be kept up and continue for life. Because this is a family gathering, because we are family. I would observe, politically correct or otherwise, that what I consider to be a real tragedy with respect to the NZCTU last year is a tragedy not for Mike, not for others of us, but also for the private sector unions in this country in terms of, I believe, the momentum, in terms of the capacity for the three largest private sector unions to really start to effectively work together, may not have disappeared off the chart. It certainly has had to have, and has in fact, lost the momentum that it otherwise would have generated with Mike Jackson's leadership. And to me, if there is a tragedy, that is the absolute tragedy. Now, I'm not standing here advocating that those things are an end, because any good idea cannot be beaten down rapidly. And it will surface and continue to surface, and it will see its day. And we know, those of us that are either long in the teeth or started very young in our careers, that we're a fairly unwieldy organisation, and you have to be if you're democratic. We are frustrating, and all of us share that in terms of saying we need to be there, and it takes another year or two to get there. And there is people in this room with absolute patience, and Mike was one of them. I do share a little bit of humour though, because I agree, I've seen Mike in action, and I've never seen anyone as calm. At the same time, I've never seen anyone lose the plot as quickly on a personal basis. And one of the first times I met Mike was during an FRL conference in the office of George Starr, where he had Garth Fraser by the neck. So I have to say, and actually thank Mike, I've never spoken to him personally about it, but there was a point not so long ago where Mike wanted to have me by the neck as well. My particular position in the NZCTU was not advantageous to where the NZCTU should have been going, if my allegiance was where it perhaps should have been. And Mike was right about that. His ability to sort of have dialogue constructively at the time, I thought was a bit missing. It was fairly clear and concise. And I've gone from a person with a young trade unionist with the same as a lot of other people with huge respect for Mike as one of the real leaders of this movement, to a colleague to work alongside, and now to a family member actually. And that's just brilliant for me. Finish off as I start. This is really difficult because I do not see, and for some of us, we do not accept that this is actually an end. You cannot say if you're a genuine trade unionist person that's motivated in the labour movement that it never ends. And so be it for mine. I think that's the end of it. Just probably
National President of the NZCTU.
I'm here to represent 15% of the organising staff that support the last week. And being part of Mike's team during the elections, I was in touch with Mike 2 or 3 times a week. How's it going, mate? It's sweet. So everything wasn't sweet, and so I guess that's why we're here tonight. And I just want to say very briefly that one respect for Mike comes from the heart, because it's about loyalty. It's about loyalty to the leadership that you sign up to, the leadership of the state. And Mike, I'm sorry to see you go, mate. And those that are left, we work with the carpetbagger. And
Well said, all right.
that's okay.
Good on you.
20 years ago, the NZCTU was set up at NZCTU. And we all moved through, as Mike has done, as being custodians of that union.
Yes.
And that's what I see my role as. And in due course, I'll go to Mike, to the best mate, and thank you to us, and thank you.
Look, that's it. I do have the final say. It's just one thing I would say. That, I was in the airport in Heathrow many years ago, and it's not a place that you can expect to bump into anybody. Anyway, just all of a sudden I heard "Sweeney!" and of course it was my mate Jacko. Now the reason I mention this is because he'd been home, his mother was dying, he'd been home for 6 weeks, and unfortunately at the end he had to come back to New Zealand. And I've really talked to his sister, his brother-in-law, who lived in a pub for 6 weeks. You can imagine what spirits he was in the airport. He absolutely seduced my 3 sisters and all my nieces and nephews, all trained, and they loved him by the time we got into the queue. And I had my fingers, my leg, everything crossed, because we used to get upgraded by the engineers in New Zealand quite often. And I was hoping like hell, because he said to me when we got in the queue, you should be over there with the business class. I said, Mike, no, I'm in with the blends. Anyway, I got up to the front counter, and the woman said, you should be over there, you're in first class. Well, you can imagine, Jacko just entertained everybody for the next 15 minutes. Go to the engineers union, where's the workers' money? Anyway, we both ended up in business class. I made a compromise, Mike made a compromise. One final thing, his sister said to me that his mother was absolutely beside herself with the fact that he spent so much time with her. And obviously, it's a very sad time for Mike to come home. Anyway, look, thanks to all of you. We've all served this farewell on a short basis, as much as Jim points out. It's not a farewell to Mike, this is a celebration of what he's done for us all. We all love him, we love him dearly, and we will never stop that. It was what happens to me. We'll never stop that. But look, thanks Mike for all you've done. It's been absolutely wonderful knowing you. I, through the Engineers Union, got a lot of latitude through you probably don't know that. While I was with Mike Jackson, because of the reputation he had, I could get a lot more latitude from a quite conservative union if I was with Mike Jackson. So that's some idea how we work together. Apart from that, look, it's going to be something for me to understand. But thanks to all of you for coming, and let's drink up and have it. Thank you.
get my song on there, Adam?
I did.
Good.